There is a lot of FUD in the market right now, and in this video, I'm going to show you something that I think is super fucking interesting, which we're kind of on the kind of path of both ways, in my opinion. I'll show you that in a second on TradingView. And what that really means is we're either going to go up or go down, and you're probably going to be like, oh, well, Jake, thanks for that. But I think it's so important what we're going to dive into. But what I want to talk about is these tweets here that really kind of annoy me. And mainly because most of these people, and maybe you at home are like this, and again, this is not a disrespect to anybody, but a lot of people are saying the bear market's in, right? The bull market's over. And if I want to be real, if you think it's over, maybe you should short the market. Put your money where your mouth is, like dead ass. Put your money where the mouth is if you think this bull market is over, because if you're right, and I hope you're right, because I want everybody to make money on this channel, you would make a fuck ton of money, even if it's just short term, even if you think we're going lower in the 70s, the 60s, even the 50s, like I've seen people on Twitter talk about. Put your money where your mouth is. Do a short. Or if you haven't, why are some people still holding the bag and not really doing anything? If you think the bull market's over, you should sell, and you should probably try and read back higher. But if you don't think it's over, we should stop talking about the bull market being over, because then we're just talking nonsense. It looks difficult right now, but in this video, I'm going to show you on a chart halfway through this video and what I can see, and I think it's very, very interesting because, again, I want everybody to win in cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency market right now is very angry, right? Everybody thinks it's going to go higher, everybody thinks it's going to go lower, and we're only angry because, number one, we just don't know, or maybe number two is you kind of bought January, kind of February's high, and now you're kind of bleeding out in real time. I'll tell you right now, man to man, my portfolio is bleeding out. But this photo here that I found on Google Images kind of brought me to think why I even invested in cryptocurrency. Like deadass, when I was a kid, and we used to be asked, like, hey, what do you want to do when you're older, right? And my goal wasn't to just be like, hey, I want to work in this dead-end job. And again, this is using as motivation, because if this is you right now, I've been there. I've fucking done this for so many years, and it doesn't get you anywhere. That's probably why you got in cryptocurrency, for a reason. Because when I was a kid, and they would ask us, even in high school, but mostly primary school, and they'd say, oh, what do you want to be? And you were like, I want to be a Superman. I want to be a policeman. My answer was always, I want freedom. The problem with wanting freedom is they don't tell you how to do that. You go to school, you get your education, maybe some of you go to college, maybe some of you go to university, and then you get a job. But what nobody tells you is real world actually catches up on you fast, meaning stuff gets so fucking more expensive and your wages don't rise enough to give you that freedom. Because again, when I was a kid, my goal was not this, and yours probably wasn't. So that is why we're in cryptocurrency. Because for me, again, I wanted to use cryptocurrency as a vehicle to escape. And I almost did that in 2021, but as you guys know, or if you don't know, I completely fumbled at the last hurdle because I forgot how to press the sell button. It was very easy pressing the buy button. Right now, it's kind of difficult. And again, I'm going to tie that into a chart on a second in this video, because there's kind of two ways that this could go. But again, what I want to talk about is this right here. This is what's happening right now in the market. Okay, so shout out to this guy. This tweet pretty much sums it up. We've got one half saying the bull run is over, the other half saying the bull market hasn't even started. Now, again, I'm on the half of saying, hey, okay, the bull market has started, because again, if you look at 23 and 24, there's definitely been upward trajectory. E.g., Bitcoin crossed $100,000, crossed $107,000 from the lows of 15K. So we've definitely had some sort of a wave. But most people are in this. The bear market's over, and the bull market hasn't even started. And crypto Twitter, and especially YouTube, so I don't even read the comments that much anymore because it's just nonsense. And again, there's a lot of scams in my comments. It's hard to monetize this. Do not message any fake Jake Gordons, or not me. Just watch out for them. And I want to ask you, where do you stand? Because again, if you think the bull run is still intact, if you have cash, the best piece of advice I can give you without betting the farm and taking too much, leverage in the real world, e.g. remortgaging your house, you should probably bring down your DCAs and your top coins that you believe for this bull run. And again, if you think the bear market has begun, really put your money where your mouth is and start doing shorts. You don't have to go crazy leverage, but if you think that truly is what's happening, you should do that, or you probably shouldn't say anything at all. Because quite frankly, what I'm going to show you, as I keep hinting to, I'm going to show you exactly what I think is going to happen. But you have to decide what party you're on, okay? You got in cryptocurrency for a reason. I don't know when you got in. Maybe that was me in 22 and 23 that got in good enough prices where if the bear market came in, probably not going to get to Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin prices that I was buying in, even HBAR prices. But if that does happen, we just have to pack up shop and we have to do it again. So again, I'd love to know where you stand. Drop it in the comments below. I think it's a very interesting topic, because what I can see is it's kind of 50-50 right now. And it wasn't too long ago, if we go back to January, that it was like 90-10%. Okay, we're on to the bull run. Donald Trump is in office. We had all this good news. But now in a couple of months, everybody's jumped ship. I think it's funny, but also it just reminds you that cryptocurrency is a very mentally marathon kind of game. So if you are on the fact or on the fence that the bull market is still intact, we have a problem that we need to talk about before before we get into that interesting chart that I keep talking about and teasing you guys this. So this is the biggest problem. If we look at the last one day on the liquidation mark that we always like to talk about, number one is way too many people are taking up too much leverage. You can see the 50x and 100x leverage. You can see this 100x leverage here is off the fucking chart. Literally, people are doing 100x leverage, which is absolute crazy because it only takes literally 0.01% to completely wipe you out if you don't have the funds to force these liquidations not to close. So it's very, very stupid. Do not do that, in my opinion. Now, again, what the traders are trying to do, they're really trying to play catch up. They're really trying to make more money. That's why I said at the start of this video, if you think the market's going to go down, you should probably short the market. But again, if we look at the last kind of one day, we can see all these longs, almost $1 billion, getting wrecked in real time. And we can see the shorts here start to stabilize because a lot of people aren't really thinking about shorting the market anymore because it's kind of like stabilizing again. But there's a lot of longs compared to the shorts being liquidated in real time. And that is one of the biggest reasons that we're having with, and we have came across from the past 4 to kind of 6 weeks. Unless this stops, Bitcoin's price is not going to stop falling. It's that simple, because if people keep losing their money, it's going to push the cryptocurrency prices down. And then what happens after that, all these hodlers, all these spot mentality, believers of the 2025 bull run, they're ultimately going to sell, right? Because they're just trying to get their money back, or they're just trying to make this loss way worse. And then what that's also going to do is it's going to create the market to go even downwards, which again could wreck, and I say this one time, I don't think this is true, but that could wreck the 4-year cycle theory. And I don't believe that, and I'm going to show that in a second. And again, all these traders are trying to do, they're trying to play catch up, right? And the only thing they're really catching up, if you're trying to 100x leverage the market, like dead ass, real to real, the only thing they're trying to play catch up is they're trying to catch up from the divorce that's probably going to happen from their wives when they go, okay, there's no vacation this year because I lost it all on 100x leverage on Bitcoin because I didn't know what I was doing. Sorry, wife, there's no vacation anymore. And again, that's only just going to cause the market to go downward even more. And short term, it is not looking very, very good. Now, I want to tell you a story with my first bull run 2021. And again, if you think this bear market has started, you should start collecting cash, work tirelessly, and start buying the bottoms if we get there. Or what you're going to do is you're going to buy the peak bull run and you're going to lose it either way. Now, again, in my opinion, my story with 2021, it was very emotional. I kind of caught the best kind of times to invest. I didn't buy the C19 crash because I was too much of a paper hand pansy, but I got in a good times. And my biggest problem, it wasn't when we seen these massive, massive dips. These are 30% dips, right? This was a 50% dip. I was kind of unfazed because I was so new to the market. And then when we ultimately pumped back up, my biggest problem was not taking profits. I could not click that sell button. And again, a lot of people are saying that right now. Oh, I wish I sold it January, February. Me too, bro. But I've seen this so many times in the market. And again, I don't ultimately think this bull run is over, but there's a big trap right now, and it's with people leverage trading, people not knowing what they're doing, and then ultimately they just keep buying and selling. They're constantly losing money. So again, if you don't sell, I think you win both ways, because yes, you might have to stomach this loss, but remember, if you're buying top altcoins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, I'm not really going to name anything after that because it's obviously speculation, but honestly, XRP, Solana, ADA, these coins will probably still be around if this bear market does start for the next bull run. So you can't lose if you don't sell. All you can do is start buying bottoms, and then eventually we get the next bull run. But ultimately, I don't think the bull run is over. And again, I want to give you this. This is not a flex. This is just a problem I'm having, right? So this is an account I forgot I had. It was like a savings account. If you guys are from the UK, you probably know what I mean. You've got premium bonds here. You've got direct saver. It's about £82,000, which is, I think, $106,000. And my biggest problem, and I need you guys to help me out right now, I almost bought cryptocurrency yesterday, but I had to remind myself of what I did in the last bull run and not become like cash poor, because again, I need money to live. Now, the biggest problem I have is literally what I want to do right now. And again, I'm not going to do this, but I'd love to know your comments below. I really want to buy $30,000 worth of Solana, $30,000 worth of Render, $30,000 worth of Sui. And I'm not doing this right now, but I will let you know if I decide to do this, because I honestly think if I do that, I can take this account to like 300 to 500K, which is only a 3 to 5x at these prices if the bull run is still intact. And then I'll cash that back out back in a year, start accumulating. You only get about 3% on this account here in the UK. You probably guys have something similar in the USA, but I really want to do that. But I have to just remind myself that I really don't want to lose all my fucking money and be what happened to me in 2022. So again, I'd love to know what you would do with this kind of money. And e.g., if you're buying buying right now, or if you're just kind of stacking cash to see if we can get some even lower bottoms. Again, here's something really interesting, which I don't think anybody's talking about. This is when pretty much the Bitcoin ETF got approved, right? So I'm going to take you back to around 2024 January, right? So what happened was, I think was very interesting. We kind of pumped, right? Which is obviously to expected. The news started to go out and people started to buy. And obviously these million old people that had 5 to 10 millions in their pension funds can now buy ETFs because they don't know how to download Coinbase, etc., etc. These guys started to buy. But what was interesting, after that, we had 9 months worth of nothing, e.g. even downtrends in the market. And for context, I think I want to tie this back to this. And then obviously we had Donald Trump winning the election. I think this ties back to what I'm going to talk about with this ETF. So people started to buy, Donald Trump's in office, it's going absolutely great. And then obviously he started to get a little bit reckless in the market with tariffs, etc., etc. And people don't understand, this was 9 months of like nothing and downward action plus initial pump. And it looks the exact same what's happening right now. The only caveat is it's only been 2.5 months. Now, my biggest problem, if this was to repeat 9 months of nothing happening, yes, the top would have been $107,000, right? Because you'll pretty much just get a slow bleed out, and then the 4-year cycle comes in, it's invalid, and then we're going to go down to the absolute worst bear market in a while. But again, what's interesting was since Trump came in office, you got downtrends plus boring action, because when he won the election, we started to go up. When the ETFs got approved, we started to go up, but then it was like 7 to 9 months of absolute nothing. And this is good, but it's also bad, and it just depends what really happens in the next couple of months, because if this price doesn't start to recover, it might be the 4-year cycle is invalid. Because again, what we can also talk about is the crypto fear and greed index. Now, we did pump up to 50, which was nice. Just yesterday, we were at 15. I think the day before that, we were at like 19. So the level of fear is so intense right now, although we've just came back up to 50. But the moral of this kind of story is we're literally been in the 15 to 20s for so long, right? And here's one of the reasons why I think we potentially are going to struggle, and you're not going to want to hear this. Compared to now, with the level of fears in previous bull runs, ever since we got, like usually we get good news, right? And then this crypto fear index has, exploded. E.g., literally just today, you can see here, Japanese firm Metaplanet just bought 161 Bitcoin for 2 billion yen. Okay, bullish fucking news. Japan will cut down tax on Bitcoin, gains from 55% down to 20%. E.g., the big players pay less tax. Should be good news, or is good news. And then you have Fidelity plans to add staking to its Ethereum, right? And its ETF, which is all good news. And again, why this is a problem, because in our minds, what has typically happened when there's good news, the price should go up, right? That's usually happened in every cycle. But now this has always become disproven, right? Because we're getting all this good news, and I'm going to give you some more good news in a second that we've had, but Bitcoin's price hasn't really reacted. So we previously thought that if the news would fuel moves in crypto market, and it's literally the most bullish we've had in all of the cycles, but yet Bitcoin's price is going down, and all of our alts keep also going down. So again, what we've had is we had the Bitcoin ETFs approved, right? The US now allow Bitcoin funds that big investors can buy easily. This is fucking the best news that we've ever had. They bought a lot more crypto, e.g. it gave us more legitimacy in this market. But yet, why is the price struggling? We also had Trump supporting crypto. The US president wants to make America a crypto leader, helping Bitcoin grow. And so far, ever since he came in office in January, it's been a disaster for price action. E.g. more bullish news, but why is the fear and greed, and why is everybody panicking? Obviously, we've got big companies buying Bitcoin. You've got MicroStrategy or Michael Saylor. You've got big banks are putting money into Bitcoin, making it more popular. And this has led to millions of smaller businesses doing the same, right? Follow the big people, allocating their profits to hedge with crypto. But again, prices are going down. Bitcoin obviously broke the 100K mark in late 2024. Bitcoin reached the record price, bringing in more investors. E.g., as we expected, once this happened, news articles would go crazy, especially in USA and UK, and pushing the more smaller businesses and even retail were wanting a piece of this pie, but now prices going down as well. The US government who picked leaders who wants less strict crypto rules. Before we had cancer people like Gary Gensler that were trying to wreck XRP, and they wanted to slaughter crypto, but we still had a good bull run. But now we've got all this good news, but cryptocurrency isn't reflecting the price. You've also got Wall Street joining in, and banks and investment firms now let people buy Bitcoin easily, making it part of regular finance. And ultimately what I'm saying is, at least in the short-term price action, all this good news with many other good news that I've gave you on this channel and today, the price has not reflected, and all the retail are seeing this and think maybe the news on this cycle isn't going to be the catalyst, and that just causes more people to start going short and people getting wrecked and people selling their spot buys because they think it's over, and it doesn't really matter at that point. You can get all the good, like there's so much good news right now, but the price keeps going down. Now here's what I've been leading up to in this video, and this is probably going to be the most important thing you've seen on YouTube. You've probably never seen this before. What I did on my chart is I put on the 50 MA, right? And all that basically means is a moving average over the last 50 days. I've took away the 100, the 200, the 350, but the 50, this yellow line is what I'm really interested in. And I'm going to show you why pretty much right now is the most crucial time in cryptocurrency, whether it is game over or we're going to be on to, you know, plain sailing for another bull run. And this is ultimately going to decide if I take profits, even though I'm still in profits, but this is ultimately going to decide if I personally exit the market on this little yellow line. I can't believe I'm saying this because I still believe in the 4-year cycle, but this little yellow line holds a secret for you. And if you want to do this, by the way, you just go in indicators and just type in 50 MA and you can cancel all the other lines. But, you know, I'm just going to show you it right now because this is going to decide if the bull run is over or are we going to be respecting this 50 MA and we're going to go to higher highs. So the yellow line in Bitcoin's chart is the 50 moving average. And this ultimately tells us if the bull run is still on or is it absolutely over. And at the time of recording, and this is why I wanted to get this information out to you as fast as possible, we haven't wicked it yet. It's about $75,000, but we're almost touching it, right? And if we break this, this is going to be very bad for cryptocurrency. Now, yes, we could break this and obviously still go back up. That's absolutely fine. But ultimately, what I think is if we break this, I'm personally going to be selling. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to give it a couple of weeks after if we actually do come down. And then I'll ultimately let you guys know if I'm starting to sell. I'm not going to sell everything, but I'm ultimately going to start taking profits because historically, what I'm going to show you is we've never broke this. Okay, yes, we can believe in the 4-year cycles, etc. But if this breaks, it's game over, in my opinion. Now, you can quite literally see that we skiffed it, right? And I literally looked at this the other day and I was taking a deep breath and we were talking in my private community how important this was because, yeah, it's not looking good. So here's how significant this is. In November 2015, okay, after we just had the 2013, if you were invested, then congratulations and you made a fuck ton of money. What happened was that 50 MA crossed, e.g. it went below Bitcoin's price. And this typically will show you, and I'm going to break this down for you in a second, as we were above this, we got that 2017 bull run and we never came close to touching it. Yeah, we had some wicks that were close to it and that's pretty much what we're experiencing right now. But, you know, as soon as we wicked it, we pretty much touched it. And then we can see in June 2018, which was obviously the end of the 2017 cycle, although it's not going to call this perfectly, but it pretty much told you, hey, it's actually over. We crossed it in the other way, even e.g. the 50 MA went above Bitcoin's price, and that would significantly confirm that the bear market was intact. Obviously, we had the big whoopsie doopsie with the pandemic, the C19, and that kind of was like a black swan event, so we can't really count this. But ever since then, we got rid of that. What happened was Bitcoin's price went above the 50 MA, okay, so the yellow line. Now, we did wick it a couple of times, which I think is very important. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. But ever since then, it pretty much told you when to sell, which was around January 2022. And what happened after that was the 50 MA, the yellow line, went above Bitcoin's price, confirming the bear market was intact. Now, if we go back to this bull run, what we're interested right now, you can see since March 2023, and this is where it gets super fucking interesting, so pay attention, we flipped. So Bitcoin's price started to go above it. Now, what was interesting was we wicked it 2 times, on August 2024, and we wicked it again on September 2024. We almost wicked it again in October, and now we're at that crucial levels. Remember, this is on the weekly, so we didn't quite wick it yet. It's at about $75,000. And what I'm trying to say is, if we break this, not just wick it, we have to break it, because you can see here these wicks actually broke it, but we get a confirmed candle on the weekly below this 50 MA, that is when I'm ultimately going to start taking probably 20% out, 30% on my portfolio. Then I'll sit for a couple of months, and if we don't cross that again, it's probably time to get out the market. And I'll comfortably tell you that the bull market was early this cycle, and it's very, very sad. Now, do I believe that's going to happen? No, but I'm just showing you this, guys, because I want to keep this on this radar for you. If you want to download this, again, TradingView is free to do. Just go in indicators and just type in 50 MA, and you'll see it right here. If you want to take away the other lines that it gives you, literally just click the cogs, and then you can go here and just put in the yellow one. I changed it to yellow, probably going to be blue for you, but you can cancel all this because the 50 is what is the most significant thing that drives us to a bull market. And every single cycle, as long as this is below Bitcoin's price, and here's the kicker, we have been fined. Ever since the bear market came in, the 50 MA would go above Bitcoin's price, and that would ultimately tell you that it's bear market. So again, I am super watching this like a hawk, and I'm trying not to panic, but ultimately this is where we're going to be decided on. Now again, what ultimately I want to happen is Bitcoin to start rallying up fine. This is going to kind of level out, so we're probably going to have to drop to like 72k to 71k for this to really catch up, and then it's going to be decision time if you want to take your profits or you stomach your losses depending on when you bought, or start getting out the market. But ultimately, I'm chilling right now, but I'm just watching this like a hawk. Now, how this is even more interesting, so ultimately what I'm telling you is every time we've came close to this, it's came to that massive decision is if it is a bull market or if it is the confirmation of the bear market. Now, the good thing is I still believe in the 4-year cycle, but this is the only thing that would invalidate me to start taking profits and get out of the game. Now, here's why this is even more interesting. It also calculates the S&P 500. So again, you can find this on TradingView. If you go under stocks, just type in SPX, and obviously that's the S&P 500. And again, if you don't believe me, the 2008 big disaster, the big financial crash, what happened was the 50 MA went above the S&P 500's chart, and you got the biggest dumps in a lifetime. Now, ever since then, if we go back to kind of 2012, we wicked it a couple of times, but we stayed above it, confirming that the S&P was going to keep rising. Obviously, in 2015, we went below it. The prices started to reflect that, and the 50 MA was in charge. But ever since then, obviously, till these little disasters here in COVID, we were fine. But after COVID, big bull run, obviously 2021. That's why Bitcoin is really reflecting on the S&P 500s. And again, if you don't believe me, here's 2021, when obviously Bitcoin's price started to go in a bear market as well. You had that invalidation. But ever since then, and again, what's super interesting in the S&P 500 is we actually have a confirmation of us going below it. So I'm very interested to see how the S&P 500 does on this next weekly candle, on the next monthly candle, because if we're still below this, this is going to be not very good for cryptocurrency, because usually cryptocurrency is kind of following the S&P 500 right now. Of course, cryptocurrency gives you more gains, but historically since like 2020, 2021, it's pretty much done the same thing, especially in the bear market. So this is obviously some good news if you want to get cheaper DCAs, but it's very bad news if you bought at kind of January time and we get a confirmation of this going down, and then cryptocurrency might follow. But I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just sharing that with you because I think it's very important to talk about, and nobody is talking about this right now. And again, it's very hard for me to make a video on this, but I'm ultimately just telling you what I can see. And I think that 50 MA, you should get it on your TradingView chart ASAP, because it will save you, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not going to say if we lose this 50 moving average, it's pack up shop time. That's not what I'm saying, because we're still in the 4-year cycle, and historically that has played out. But we also have to bring in fact that if we lose this 50 MA, the government could announce some huge stimulus checks, like in obviously the C-19 crisis, and that could boost the economy. So say if we break it, but then the government comes up with some stimulus, that could obviously invalidate this, and that would be nice as well. But short term, it won't look that good, because as you know, we're in one of the most manipulated markets, or the most manipulated economies ever this cycle has ever been, combined with the fact that we're also in cryptocurrency, not the stock market. So it's even worse for us for manipulation, and we're seeing that on those leverage positions as we talked about before. Again, this 50 MA is one of the most bullish support zones in history we have, not only on Bitcoin, on the S&P 500, and pretty much every asset class across the board. So again, it's very, very important you guys are taking that note, and I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just how it is right now. So here's my plan. Like I just said, this is a make or break zone kind of for me. I'm not going to lie to you. As I showed you from my SNI account with that 100K, I really want to put that in the market and really get a 3 to 5x, and then put it back after this bear market is confirmed, if we still get the 4-year cycle, and then put that back in to keep that SNI account growing with like 3% that it gives me per year. But I've had to hold myself off from doing this. Normally, the previous Jake would have just risked it all. But as you know, I got wrecked in 21 and 22, and I don't want to go back there. But just in case we break that 50 MA and it is confirmed game over, because yes, I'll still be investing in top coins with this 100K that I'm going to be here for the next bull run. Again, I'm not investing in memes with this money. I'm talking about, like, for example, Bitcoin, Solana, even maybe Sui, Render, stuff like that, right? That I think will be alive, but maybe 2029's bull run. But my problem I have is I still have massive PTSD from 2021. The fact that I lost my full bag with Celsius and I didn't take profits on anything. And then the fact that I had to wait 3 to 4 years of my life knowing that I fucked up by not knowing it was the top. Again, all I had to do was click the sell button. I didn't click it. I could click the buy button. But now I've had to even push myself back from clicking that buy button just because of this MA line that we just talked about. Now, again, I don't think it is the top, but just remember, I'm almost $1 million in cryptocurrency at the time of the recording, even with the big dips. So I still get to ride out, even if I don't put this 100K in and make an extra $500,000, I still get to ride the next phase if we're still on for this 4-year cycle. So it's kind of like a win-win for me, although I'd like to deploy this money, but I don't want to be living with my parents because that would kind of suck. But I want to tell you something, man to man. When I lost everything in 2021 and 2022, here's my bank account, and I'm showing you this, and this is kind of like non-alpha of Mr. Jake Gordon to show you this, but my account, you can see here, I took this to remind me of to be more like wholesome and more like, hey, I am a real person. Account in December 22, I had £45, but I also had an overdraft of £2,000. So I was net negative. So if you think I'm so great hitting $1 million in crypto and a lot of cash on the side and a big fancy watch, literally less than 3 years ago, I was in my overdraft, right? I was so scared at this time. And it was very bad. It was very, very bad. So that's the only reason I'm not investing this 100K. And again, it's not very alpha, very masculine to tell you this, but I'm telling you this because I literally couldn't afford food or rent. I literally had to rely on my girlfriend at the time for at least 6 months while I built my way back up, and I truly respect her for that. And if she's watching, thank you so much, because you believed in me and I took that initiative. The money I lost, I went and didn't even speak to anybody, bought from her, touched grass, and I came again. And the only reason I came back was because I seen what happened in that 2021 bull run. I seen how easy it was to catch these trends. I just couldn't click the sell button. Again, I could have moved back, didn't need the girlfriend's help. I could have moved back with my parents, but I was too ashamed, let alone embarrassed of them pretty much saying every day how retarded I was for playing cryptocurrency game because it was way too extreme. And it was. I put everything on the line and I lost it all. But again, the only reason I came back because of what I seen with my paper money go up, even though it wasn't real, I just couldn't click that sell button. And that's the reason why I started to buy in a bear cycle, okay? Because I remember I seen that money. I just couldn't click sell. And if we do get a confirmed bear market, probably failed again because I didn't click sell again. But, you know, I didn't really learn my lesson, and hopefully my lesson is not going to scar me this time. But the difference is I have a ton of cash, okay, to support myself. And I think that's important because I'd love to go all in again. I really would, to be part of the fucking army, but I'm already $1 million in. I think that's enough. But ultimately, I just know how hard it is to lose everything. So if you feel like this right now, okay, and if you have a negative bank account, or if you have like $5,000, $10,000 and you're struggling, just remember what cryptocurrency can do, but it's not going to happen by accident. You have to take initiative. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the coins. But if you think it is a bear market, you should probably sell, because losing everything in your 20s is fine. I'm still in my 20s just. But losing everything when you're 30 years old, I don't think it's as cool anymore. So I don't want to do that. And that is the only reason why I'm not investing any more money currently. Now, again, if we get a confirmation of us moving way above that 50 MA line, I will put that 100K in, and I'll show you guys that, because I like to show everything on this channel as much as possible. Again, I'm not opening any leverage trades, but if you do want to do that, what we've talked about today, if you want to go long, if we get confirmation that we're going to stay above the 50 MA, put in some longs if you believe that and you want to play catch up. If you don't, and you think it's time to short the market, that might not be a bad idea. If you don't go too much on leverage, that could be a good idea for you to print and make some money while your spot positions are probably not doing that well. So if you did want to do that, plus get some free money, we actually do have an exchange that I'm working with right now, which is super, super good because you get free money as well. So I'll link this in the description. You can check it out. And these guys actually give you a 10% bonus on your first time deposit. So again, a 10% bonus of all deposits above 500 USD. They'll match your account and they'll give you that. This is one of the cheapest on the market, and they've been trusted by millions and millions of people for 14 years. So they've been around all the bear and bull cycles pretty much since inception. Is you can enjoy up to 40% lower trading fees. So the cheapest on the market. There's no KYC. You will need a VPN for UK users, and they give you a deposit bonus. Plus, they've been trusted by millions of people for over a decade now. So again, if you want to support me and you want to support these guys and you do want to buy some cryptocurrency, we've also got most of the assets there. So you can buy them and then send them to your hardware wallet as well. Super good. We'd appreciate it if you guys use my link. It's a one-time bonus for everybody on this channel, for the Jake Gordon army out there in cryptocurrency. So again, I'm going to be promoting these guys just because I like them. They've been great for me, and they're one of the cheapest right now on the market. And also as well, if you want to earn more money on your passive income for your cryptocurrency assets, you can check out the other link in the description. We have a 10K fast track. Our goal is to get everybody to $10,000 per month. We've already achieved a handful of people at $10,000 per month. And the goal here is to use your assets you already like. You guys have probably seen I put a Solana trade on, but I put that in a liquidity pool on Orica. And what that's doing for right now for me is I'm printing more Solana at these cheap prices of just over the $100 mark. And again, once we go back up, all that Solana I get to DSave for free, because again, I just showed you my NSI account. I don't want to put that 100K, but what I have done, and I have done for like 9 months to almost 1 year, I've put money into assets I believe in, and I've bought for free every single day. So we'd love to work with you on that. You can book a free call, and we'd love to help you to get to 10K per month passively on your crypto portfolio without having to DCA any more money. You can check that out in the link in the description. You can also see many testimonials of us helping a bunch of people. We'd love to work with you. So yeah, there you have it. The title of this video is probably a little bit too extreme, but yeah, don't mess this up. That 50 MA that we talked about today, I'm going to be bringing it a lot more on this channel. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, what you think about this, and I'd love for you guys to actually put that in your trading view. It's for free to do, by the way. I showed you how to do it, because ultimately that is going to be my catalyst on what's going to go forward for this bull run. I still think we're believing in the 4-year cycle. I still think we're on there. We haven't crossed that yet, but it's getting very fucking close, and I'm going to be kind of on the fence of what to do if we do cross that. So love to know your thoughts on that. Peace and take care. See you in the comments. Goodbye.